What's up YouTube? This is Russell from Russell's Reef coming to you with episode 12 of the Waterbox 70.3 build. I know a lot of you have been looking forward to this episode because we're going to go over the growth of the coral in the system. I have a couple before and after photos to show you guys, and we're generally just going to look at how everything's doing. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look.
So here's some pictures from 6/25, which was about 45 days ago. As you can see, the rock was a little cleaner back then, no hair algae. But here's the picture of the Sunny D's. And then here they are today. A little bit of growth on the Rastas. The Hornets are kind of closed up right now. Same thing with the scrambled eggs. But as you can see, the Sunny D's have definitely taken off. They've probably doubled the amount of polyps, which is a good sign. The purple monsters are the same. And then the gobstoppers have probably doubled. I think they started out with 2. Looks like there's 5 now. So not too bad. Pretty happy with the growth there. Like I said, that's about a month and a half. So not too bad. Moving on to the showpiece pallies. I have the Bowsers and the Rainbow Infusions from about a month and a half ago. And here they are today. They both really taken off. As you can see, the Rainbow Infusions start off with like 2 polyps. Now there's probably 10. And the Bowsers start off with 2 polyps and 2 babies. Now I think there's, I don't even know, 4 full polyps and probably 8 or 10 babies. So everything's growing real fast on that rock, which is a great sign. And also a good sign that those are the probably most expensive zoos I have that are growing the fastest, so not too bad. Here are some MONTI caps from a while back. As you can see, well, it doesn't really show in the video, but they've definitely grown a lot. Both of them have really started to take off, so that's a good sign. And then moving on to the large red cap that grows like crazy. As you can see today, I don't know if the video really does it justice. It's way bigger, probably doubled in size. And the color's still the same, it just happened to be under daylights in that photo. Next up is the Lime in the Sky. Today, that guy's on the bottom of the tank, dead. Dinoflagellates got it. Next up is the Setosa. Here it is today. The video doesn't really do it justice again. This guy has really taken off. It seems to be growing very fast. After the dinoflagellates, it lost pretty much all its tips and was pretty much completely bleached out. So now that it's recovered, it's really starting to take off. And then here's this little nub frag that I got as a freebie. Still kicking around. Moving on to the Hawkins, this one's kind of a sad story. So I had to frag it because it was STNing around the base after the dinoflagellates. So we're left with about half of what we had a month and a half ago, but it's colored up now and not too bad. Next up is the Oregon TORT. As you can see, that guy's doing all right, starting to encrust, growing pretty slowly, but I can't complain. It's growing, so that's all that matters. And as long as it keeps that bright blue color, I'm happy. Next up is the BUBBLEGUM DIGI. This is another one that took a big hit during the dinoflagellates. But as you can see, it's recovered nicely and pretty much doubled in size in about a month and a half. So nothing spectacular, but I'm just happy that it came back because it was completely bleached out with pretty much no polyps after the dino was eliminated. So that's what the growth has been like for about a month and a half. Just in recap, the Zoas and Pallies are growing very well, so I'm happy with that. A lot of the SPS almost died after the dino was wiped out. That was one big lesson I learned. I was super excited when I beat the dinoflagellates and didn't even think to change the carbon out that day. So probably the next day after I had beaten the dino, pretty much all of my SPS bleached and lost all of its color. And I'm pretty lucky that none of it died, or just the one Lime in the Sky died. But lesson learned, next time you're dealing with dinoflagellates, always add carbon, because when they die off, they're going to release all those toxins into the water. You may have also noticed that my tank has a lot of algae in it right now. That's because I dialed way back the refugium light and up my nutrients to try to beat the dinoflagellates. So I hadn't changed that for a month, and it just now is starting to get a little out of hand. But luckily it's just hair algae, which is very easy to deal with. But if you notice in my pictures, it looks a little grungy in there. It is, but hopefully once I get the refugium back on track, everything will straighten out a little bit. And another way to combat that algae is the new addition to the tank, the Tomini Tang. I got this guy just as a temporary housing for him. I'm gonna see how he does. Hopefully he will take care of all the algae as I'm going through the different ugly stages of the tank before it really gets established. I don't plan on keeping him. He is a bit too large for this system, unfortunately, but for the time being, he is pretty cool, and I think he'll be pretty happy for a couple months in here, so I'm not too worried about it. Please don't call the Tang police on me. Like I said, he is only in here temporarily. So overall, I think the tank is doing pretty good. It's right on track. I'm so glad that I'm not dealing with dinoflagellates anymore, and everything is recovered. Like I said, the dino definitely affected all of my SPS. The growth would be much different if they hadn't got bleached out, and then whenever that happens, that pretty much stunts their growth for a couple weeks until they color back up. One thing that I am looking forward to is next week is Reefapalooza. So I will be attending, probably with my wife and daughter, and hopefully I'll be able to pick up some cool stuff that I can show you guys when I get back. Quick update on the fish in the system. All the fish I've added have been doing good, with the exception of the Royal Grama. That guy died probably 2 days after I added him. I think something was up with him. Unfortunately, he just didn't acclimate to the system. That happens though, so that was one loss, and then I just had a second loss. One of my hyphen gobies managed to squeeze through the lid of the tank, which is about a 1/4 inch, and jump out of the tank about a week ago. So super unfortunate. Lesson learned. I probably am just gonna get fish that are a little bit larger that can't squeeze through such a small gap. One thing I am worried about is there were a pair of the hyphen gobies, and now there's just one, and the one left was the more shy one, so it's not eating as much as it should be or coming out as much as it should be. So we'll keep an eye on it, but there's not much I can do about that one. And lastly, we have a quick sump update. I just cleaned it out, scraped out all the hair algae. I took out that acclimation box and put the Chaeto just right on top of the miracle mud, and put that little divider in. Hopefully that'll help block the light from the skimmer as well, so 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm hoping that the Chaeto takes off again. Since I lowered the time, it's pretty much done nothing, and hair algae has kind of overtaken it. So I added a couple more hours onto the refugium schedule. I think it went from 6 hours to now it's 10 hours a night. So hopefully that'll make a difference. We'll see. Aside from that, sump's doing good. Skimmer's performing like a pro. Every time I take these videos, it's always right after I just cleaned it, so that's why it looks like that. But that's all I got. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, later guys.